wò àbọ̀rù bọ̀yé ẹ̀yin babaláwo. Èèyàn ìbọ̀rù bọ̀yé ó yàn.
Abora Boye, good morning. Cairo, how's everyone? This is Olua Fakola Day, Jocelyn Edmonds of Idinka IFA Temple. We welcome you to our Ile Juba IFA Temple service. Thank you for tuning in with us. You could be anywhere, but you with us. And as we say in hip hop, you are now rocking with the best. I want to begin with morning prayers. Ashe. Mojuba Lorun. Mojuba Leda, Mojuba Lodomare, Mojuba Bobo Rumale, Mojuba Bobo Male, Mojuba Bobo Egun Tembili Solodomare, Mojuba Miss Mother de Lucio Dainsburn, Mojuba Darsal, Mojuba Basement Senior, Mojuba Cadenius, Mojuba Cookadens, Watkins, Mojuba Dali, Mojuba Zion, Mojuba Nago, Mojuba Cookad Home, Mojuba Watkins, Mojuba Jenny, Mojuba Kitty Valley, Mojuba Valley, Mojuba James Elris, Mojuba Benino Chino, Rumville Mill, No Block, Ardennes, Agustinville Mill, Mojuba to all my ancestors at this time. We call on Odu Edgeogbe. He hears people please accept the please. He hears people please and approve the please. He talks to people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed. He hears people please accept the please. Name of He hears people please approve please. Name show down. He talks to people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed. His name Roishana. Roishan. You the person most being. The person most one cannot fail to impress one. The strike frogs going to rainfall. Bullfrogs going to downpour is whatever that the original poem. Two tells us what that accepts. Whatever the big rock tells us what that accepts. All what I tell you if I please accept them and approve them. I share. Autorete. To show gratitude upon gratitude, all of our gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the all of our benevolence. Whoever's going to show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person not to do as a truity. These will decorate C5 to the 401 in Rumale. I'm going to marry your prayer. Daughter reach Fuji. These also decorate C5 to a Rumen. We're going to marry your prayer. The daughter reach Fuji. I am grateful. I see my Tuti. I'm grateful yesterday's favor. I see today's Tuti. We're very grateful. I share. I share. Awa dupe. Awa bure. Awa dupe. Awa bure. Adupe anawa obure to nebo Olodumare. Awa dupe. Awa bure. Awa dupe. Awa bure. Adupe anawa obure to nebo Oriani. Awa dupe. Awa bure. Awadupe awabure adupe anawa ubure tunebo erumole awadupe awabure awadupe awabure adupe anawa ubure tunebo legunorisha Olodumare and the divinity. We thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. Thank you for all the things you've provided for us. We ask that you would forgive us for anything that we've done incorrectly or wrong, anytime we might have broken any taboos, anytime we might have doubted ourselves, doubted our divinity, our connection with you. Difficult to consume. These are the decorations we find. The child of Akbenemegun. Use bad character. How many children does Zifa have that he would cast for now? Those who beg on behalf of the Tutu. Zifa, we call on you. We ask that you would ward off all the Achogun and you would forgive us today. We ask that you would bring to us good things in life today. We call on you, Zifa. We call on Ejogbe that you would bring forth all the wonderful and blessed things. Ejogbe, the merciful one, the benefactor, the supporter, the one who never fails to give help. the one who shakes off envy. He who is covered by wealth. Eroko, the owl of the waterfront, is the one who gave life to La Rogbe and Oyibo's mother. The merciful is the name of Ifa. Ifa, please show me and my family your mercy. The benefactor is the name of Odu. Odu, please be kind to me and my relatives so that I can come and show my gratitude. Eshu Odara, please give me and my relatives your support. My Ori, please do not oppose me. The one who shakes off envy is the name of Shango. Shango, Gabi, Shango, please protect me day and night. He who covers himself with wealth is the name of Shapona. Obaluaye, don't let me see your anger. Eroko, the owl of the waterfront, is the one who gave life to La Rogbe and Oyibo's mother. Please allow all good things in life to be my friend. No one can know the names of you eight for that person to suffer from lack of wealth. No one can know the names of you eight for that person to suffer from lack of a spouse. No one can know the names of the eight of you and suffer from childlessness. No one can know the names of the eight of you for that person to suffer from lack of good things in life. Eji Ogbe, what is what you normally use to give good things to people, then give good in life, what it makes them succeed. Go and use that thing. Go and use that thing and bring me my own ire. Let me be very successful. If I let all of us be very, very, very successful. Ashe, Oshe, Atura, tiny are the feet of Tubu. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to be his headgear. Had it been enough to be his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my head with it. Easy for decorations to Aruela. We're going on a spiritual mission to Jebulan. We call on locals and send payment. Call the salt seller, make it rich. We call on Aruela with respect in the Jebulan. Oshe, Aruela is a garawo. Oshe, Tua. I kick in Bagisa. The attract sharp against the tree. Testify for Rumla when he used to see Ibahana share from all of the man. If an award touches realty, surely be wealthy. I kick in Bagisa in the mouth of an award. I Dibana share in the mouth of an award. If no touch have victory, surely victory. I kick in Bagisa in the mouth of an award. I Dibana share in the mouth of an award. If no touch have joy, you should surely have joy. I kick in Bagisa in the mouth of an award. I Dibana share in the mouth of an award. If no touch you have all the good things of life, you should surely have all the good things of life. I kick in Bagisa, the mouth of an one's Azibana share, the mouth now will to Essing. May it be so, surely shall it be. Ashe Orisha, lẹ́nu mi, Ashe Orisha, lẹ́nu mi. Ohun tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúnmọlẹ̀ ó bà. Ifá ó bà o, Ashe Orisha, lẹ́nu mi. Ashe. Bí mo dúró, tí mo súre. Tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súre, bí mo kúnlẹ̀, tí mo súre, bí mo jókòó, tí mo súre, ire tí mo sú orí ti bọ́. Now, if we can hold. Orí ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹnì ọ̀, orí ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹnì. Mojúlẹ̀ mi fà wá mọ́rí. Orí ẹni làrúrẹ ẹni ṣe bòbòrè chasu Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run àtìbà ṣáájú Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities, please ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us. Ward off all evil and danger from us. Bring to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, healing, victory. Give us joy, success, Ifa, please move my ego out of the way so that we can hear a voice of Ifa, so that we can hear the words of Olodumare. Help us to hear a good Ifa today. Guide us, direct us, and protect us, and keep us safe. Emma kami many ama, Emma kami many ano, Emma kami many adeloku. Samuele, sorry Ifa alonimi, ebora timpanini, ene banami. Tifa lelejo. Ashe. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Today, our topic is going to be very interesting. It has a very interesting take, and that take is Ifa defines my destination. And when we think of that concept, that topic, I want to further develop and say that Ifa not only defines my destination, but Ifa defines my definition. So when we speak of this, I want to talk about a concept of knowledge of self. If you have knowledge of self, no one can tell you who you are. No diagnosis, no direct or distract. No one can direct or redirect or distract you from your destiny. If you know your destiny and you know it in your bones, then no one can tell you anything different. It is important for us to allow Ifa to direct our perception of ourselves. As the Oracle in the Matrix, I remember the movie The Matrix, she tells Neo that knowing that he was the one, and let's liken knowing you're the one to your destiny. She said, knowing your destiny is like being in love. No one can tell you otherwise. You feel it through and through. And when you say that, you feel your destiny in your bones. You feel it calling you. So today we're going to discuss how to know that destiny and what to do when others may try to detract you from your destiny. They might lie on you, they might slander you, they might belittle you, they might create a definition for you. How do we handle being implicated when we know we are innocent? Ifa is the tool with which we use to know ourselves. And when we know, then we must allow that information, that Ifa, to be the barometer for our success and no one else. When we allow Ifa to be that barometer for our success, then we don't have to worry about other people's definitions of who we are, who they think we are, even ourselves. No hater has the place or a place to put you if you are rooted in destiny. They may deter, they may delay, they might even distract you, but they cannot destroy your destiny if you are truly rooted in it. In the Bible, it says in Psalms 110, verse 1, sit in the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet. This is such a powerful verse of scripture, and it echoes and is congruent with what Ifa says. Essentially, Olodumare, God, will make our enemies our footstool. Olodumare will make our problems into our providence. Our enemies, our haters, our challenges are really only lessons that will later become blessings. But the way that they will become blessings is only if we are rooted in our destinies. if we are rooted in our destinies, if we are rooted in who we are, if we know who we are, then we can indeed see the transformation of all of the challenges into things that will, in essence, raise us higher like a footstool. In the Odu Ifa Ogbe Irete, Ifa says, the horse is it which carries the bit in its mouth. The flat of the feet are what are used to march the road. He who fights with the blacksmith and breaks the hammer by marching on it. They were the Awo who cast Ifa for Orumila when he was in the midst of slanderers. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. What will Ifa use to free me of the slanderers? Ripe plantains. Ifa says that the client will overcome slanderers and they will come and pay you homage. In this, Ifa is speaking of a story where Orumila himself was living amongst people who hated him. And these individuals, many of them were silent haters and slandering his name. The thing of it is it didn't matter how much good Orumila did in the world. He would wake the dead, he would heal the sick, he would ensure that barren women had children. He would help the poor people to have money and become wealthy. But that didn't matter. There was always someone who had something negative to say. As a matter of fact, the majority of the people who had something crazy to say about Orumila were the folks that he had helped. Imagine that. The people that you help the most oftentimes become the ones who want to criticize. You give them, you lend or you give $100 and they say, oh, it should have been 200. That's not enough. That doesn't do anything. You donate this money. That's not enough. That doesn't do anything. Orumila was that person who was helping and healing and doing all these great things. And all the folks that he was helping were the folks that were hating. So it got to him. So he went to Ifa for consultation from one of his own Omo Awos. And he was told to offer a bow with ripe plantain. And after Orumila offered this abo, his haters continued. And when they continued to spit this venom at Orumila, there were other people who had actually seen what Orumila had done. And they began to stand up and say, no, I didn't see it that way. I saw that Orumila helped to raise you up when you were ill. I saw that Orumila actually gave you money when you were poor, and then he gave you Akoshe to support you so that you would become wealthy. I saw this. And as these other individuals raised up to defend Orumila in front of the people who hated on Orumila, then his haters had to admit that he indeed had assisted them in the process. This made his haters even have to reveal the fact that they were helped by Orumila. In this regard, Olodumare is using this moment to even raise Orumila even further, to support Orumila in being even greater, to make sure that Orumila is not just the guy that helped to raise the dead, but to make him into the guy that people know that he raised the dead. There's a difference. There's a difference because we can do so many good things, but it's really important when the world knows, when the world sees the good that we do. Then we have individuals who witness it and they too can share in the glory. When we think about this, I also want to share a verse of Ogbe Alara. This is a very interesting one because We talk of using enemies' negative situations as stepping stones, as things to raise us up. This is a perfect example. Ifa says, silent gossipers, quiet slanderers. There is no one who will turn his back, who will not have an affair with which to engage in gossip by others. This is the declaration of Ifa to Orunmila when people were using him as a subject of slander. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, continue with your gossip. No slander will remove the sweetness from honey. It is when you slander me that I became very rich. It is when you utter slander about me that I built houses. Continue with their gossip. No slander can remove the sweetness from honey. Continue with their gossip. It is when you utter slander about me that I gave birth to more children. Continue with your gossip. No slander can remove the sweetness from honey. Continue with your gossip. It is when you slander me. That is when I became in possession of all array of life. Continue with your gossip. No slander can remove the sweetness from honey. Continue with your gossip. Ifa is saying so much here. It's like even having haters is an elevation. When people talk about all publicity is good publicity. In this story, Orunmila was living in the town of Ile-Ife, and he was an individual in this story who had traveled all over the world, and he was helping people. And at this time, he was living in Ile-Ife, but he traveled so much. Um, he was actually helping people physically. What I mean by that is in this Ifa of Ogbelara, Orunmila was giving money to people. He was giving food to the hungry and giving shelter to those who had no home. He would provide. And he would even perform counseling to individuals who were mentally ill. He would also be offering ebo. So he was doing physical things. He was helping people physically, mentally. And then when he would even cast Ifa and offer ebo, epwese, etutu, he was helping people spiritually as well. Even though Orunmila was doing all this great stuff in the community, once again, he was the victim of slander and even more hate. Folks were saying that Orunmila was a busybody, that he was a know-it-all, he was a show-off. Some people even said, you know what, he travels around the world and he does all this stuff because he doesn't want to take care of his matrimonial duties. He doesn't want to be at home with his wife. And at this moment, Orunmila began to kind of worry because, you know, many times when people are talking so much mess about you, you start thinking, you start to kind of think to yourself like, man, is it like this? Orunmila was in this situation. He began to doubt his own actions. On a certain level, he doubted himself. He asked himself, should I stay at home? Should I not be doing this work? What should I be doing? Have you ever been in a situation where haters, detractors, individuals say so much about you that you begin to doubt you? They say so much about you that you begin to think, man, am I this person that they say I am? So Orunmila went to consult Ifa. He went to consult with one of his students. And the Babalao told him that he needed to continue with the good work, continue to do the good things, and you need to ignore the haters, ignore their insults. And as Orunmila did that, he was also advised to offer a bowl with honey. He offered the abo, and interestingly enough, the haters didn't stop. But as many haters there were 10 more people who supported him. So for every one hater, there was 10 people who also supported Orunmila. So when we see this verse, it's so beautiful, and I think that this is a verse that we should all try to take on, that we should all try to memorize. This Ifa says, continue with your gossip. Is when you gossip about me, that is when I become rich. No one can remove the sweetness from honey. You can't deny me. You cannot deny what Olodumare has set forth for me to have. You cannot remove. You cannot remove it. You cannot deny me at all. That is what Ifa is saying here on such a powerful level. Ifa will use the individuals who hate on us, slander us, lie on us to help raise our vibration. There's even times when individuals will implicate us. You ever been implicated in something that you never imagined you would be in? Perhaps being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or hanging with the wrong people who involve you in some garbage. In the Odu Obara Yeku, it talks about that too being a sign of hateration. Obara Yeku says, a person will always implicate other people. This was Ifa's declaration to Alabahun Ijapa, the land tortoise, when planning to become Ajubona under the Oluo. He was advised to offer a bow. Now, a useless person will always implicate other people. The Oba of the land, please return the hind leg of the goat that I gave you. A useless person will always implicate others. The chiefs of the land, please return the foreleg of the he goat that I gave you. A useless person will always implicate others. The Ialode of the land, please return the hind leg of the he goat that I gave you. A useless person will always implicate others. In this Ifa, Ajapa, the tortoise, was a very interesting and not so good individual. What Ajapa did was he devised a mission and was implicating all the prominent good people of the community. What he did was he stole another person's she goat, and then he used that she goat to celebrate. What I mean by that is he stole someone's she goat and offered it as sacrifice to the deities, to Ifa, and he used that goat to basically celebrate the fact that he had received the position of Ajubona. So what he did was he then quartered the goat and gave a hind leg to the Oba of the town. And then he gave one of the front legs, to the chiefs of the town. And then the Ialode got the back of the goat. And when Ajapa was caught and interrogated, he then said, well, he starts snitching. He starts snitching on everybody. But he was the culprit of the crime. He started saying, well, the whole community is to blame. He said, I was not the only one who stole the she goat. Then he identified the Oba, the chiefs, as well as the Iyalode. In this regard, haters are miserable, and they will bring us into that misery. What we need to do is not allow it. They will sell you out just to save themselves. That too is an aspect of definition that we must transform into elevation. Lastly, I want to share a verse and a story from the Odu Ifa Irete Meji. Ifa says, El yele puyi ranyi lojude apon. He was the Awo who cast Ifa for Orumila when Iyami were fighting against them. And they were accusing Iyewa. He was advised to offer Abo. He complied. Behold, Oshun Iyewa Toro Efo will never fight against anyone to the extent of harming their child. So in this Ifa, Orumila was married to Oshun, and they lived in a town called Ile-Ife. And in Ife, everything was very bad. The women could not give birth to children. Any woman who wanted to have a child couldn't even get pregnant. And any woman who was pregnant, was blessed enough to get pregnant, those women were all having miscarriages. The crops were failing. There was domestic crisis in this land. Domestic crisis to the point where it was a potential civil war afoot. And the economy in Ile-Ife declined to the degree in which that the rich became poor due to this economic failure, economic shutdown. And Oshun, she is very, very vocal about the rights of women, the dignity of women. She, in speaking up about the rights of women and the dignity of all women, she then becomes a target of the influential men and women of this town. They become very angry at Oshun. Why? Because she was speaking up. And their disdain grew larger and harder. And this did not deter Oshun any bit. She decided to go even harder. And so her haters became entrenched in their hatred and they began to lie and blame the problems of the town on Oshun. They basically said Oshun is the reason why these women are losing their babies. Oshun is the reason why we have economic decline. Oshun is the reason why our crops are failing. Oshun is the one who's making sure that the people in the town are on the verge of civil war. And before too long, the whole town actually believed that Oshun was the culprit for the birth dearth, the failed crops, and the economic depression in Ife. The people of the town even approached Oshun and accused her to her face. She pleaded her case, but they banished her. And after they banished her on the same day, they went to Orumila and said, your wife is out here causing problems. She creating all these problems and you need to divorce her. You need to get away from this woman. They told Orumila all sorts of madness. Orumila said, wait, calm down. Did you investigate deeper about this issue? Because I know her character. She would never challenge a person to the point of harming their children. And the town people said, you know what? Orumila's on her side. He's with her. So you know what? Orumila, you're banished too. Get out of this town. So Orumila and Oshun, they sat back and they're deliberating like, man, what in the world would make these people believe that we would cause all of these problems? We've come here to support the community. We've come here to support all the people here. And as they deliberated, Orumila and Oshun decided to go cast Ifa with one of Orumila's students. His name was Eyele Puyiranyin Lojude Apun. And this was the Babalao who cast Ifa for them. So when he cast for them, he told Orumila and Oshun, the truth will soon be known. And you will all be vindicated. They were asked to offer a bow, and they did. And as soon as they offered this a bow, Eshu Odara snapped into action. Eshu Odara went to the queen of the witches in Ife, and he said, I would love to join you in your onslaught against Orumila and Oshun. And the head of the witches then was so excited, she invited Eshu to their secret meeting in order to plan their next onslaught against Oshun and Orumila. At the meeting, Eshu Odara told these witches, he was like, I hate Oshun with a passion. The witches told Eshu that Oshun is really the problem. Why? Because Oshun, anytime anybody was being tied down, anytime anyone was being killed or burdened, Oshun would be the one to help liberate them and bring them up. Oshun would be the one to help support those people and get them out of bondage. Oshun would be the one to actually neutralize the problem. The witches even said that they felt that since the blood of children was more pure and delicious, that Oshun had no right to keep them from it. Eshu Odara then asked the queen of the witches, how do you share the blood? How do you share the bodies of your victims? And the queen of witches, she said, well, I share in 1/10 of the blood, and then I get the head, and then I share all the other parts with all of my deputies. Eshu Odara said, man, you're being cheated. As the head of the witches, you should partake in all the delicacies. You should dine on the kidneys and the intestines and the heart. You should eat everything. You should be able to taste all of the parts of your victims. And he told her she needed to go to her underlings and begin to demand her rights. So she went and she was like, you know what? From now on, I'm taking the whole part. I'm taking a bite out of every piece, and you get my leftovers. And then all the other witches, they was like, hold up. That don't sound right. That don't sound fair. And they began to argue amongst themselves. They got to arguing to such a degree that each of the witches began to remind the other one, well, you know what? You remember I killed that dude for you. I killed the blacksmith's child for you. I killed this one for you. I ate this one's organs for you. I made sure they didn't have children for you. And they began to debate and debate and debate. And as they debated and argued, they began to confess their transgressions. And Eshu Odara quietly excused himself. And then as he excused himself, he went and he was like, hey, townsfolks, do you hear what's going on? You hear that commotion in the forest? They're like, wait, what? They started walking and getting closer, and they heard all these Iamis saying what they did. This is what I did to them, and I did this to hit this person. I did that to that person. I did this, and I did that, and I did this. And the townspeople start realizing, oh my goodness, that they're talking about my husband who's a blacksmith, or my wife was trying to have a child, and they got their hoes and they got their machetes, and the townspeople dealt justice on the Iami that day. What are we saying? In each of these stories, the through line, the common theme is maintaining who you are. Do not give up the definition of yourself, give up your position in order to accept another individual's lowly definition of you, in order to accept the chamber, the hell, the jail, the destination that a person has for you. Ifa is saying, know who you are and stick to it. Stick to your destiny. Because when you are entrenched and confirmed in your destiny, then no one else has anything else to say about it. No one else can convince you otherwise. They cannot tell you who you are if you know who you are. If you know your destiny, the point of this is to stick to it. And the other issue is that those individuals who want to make themselves into your enemy, they want to bring harm to you. And Ofun Osaifa says, what you know is what you have used to harm yourself. Those individuals who have come against you to try to harm you when you are working your destiny and doing what is right for your destiny. Those individuals who have done that, they are truly destroying themselves. So, in closing, I suggest this: learn to accept the definition that Ifa has made for you. Learn to accept the definition that Olodumare has given you. Stick to that. Stick to the definition that God has made and hold on to that. If the world says we have no cure, Olodumare says there is cure and there is peace. If the world says you're too old to have that child, and Ifa says you can have this child, all you need to do is this. If the world says you will never be great, and Ifa says greatness is your destiny. My point is, use the definition of what Ifa says. Use the definition of greatness that is codified in your DNA. And I want you to become that. Abora boy. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We thank you for all the good things that you have brought to us. We thank you for hearing all of these words. I thank you for joining us once again. And every first and third Sunday, we do temple service. We do Ile Ijuba. And we also do every first and third Friday conversations with Ifa. That's a opportunity for you to sit, talk with Awos, other people who are in the tradition, who can also support you in your journey. In terms of conversations of Ifa, this past Friday, we had a really interesting topic, and it was Isheshe 101. So we talked about Isheshe and what it means. And so, if any of you are interested in these conversations with Ifa and temple service, or our other program that we do every third Thursday of the month, which is called The Makings of Men, if you are interested in any of those things, please join us. You can go to the website, which is www.idinkaifatemple.com. It's at the bottom of the screen, and you can join, you can make donations, and enjoy the things that Ifa has brought to us. We just had Itarogun. Odu for our Itarogun was Ejyogbe. Very powerful Odu. I'll be uploading the feed and the video feed, excuse me, this afternoon. If you are interested in participating in Itarogun, you are welcome to. Those people who are members and have paid the membership fee, you are good. It has already been done. I've already uh, paid for the abo to be done, and I'm just waiting on word from owls who are doing it. And once we hear word, then we'll move forward with other things that we may need to do. But I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. I hope that this was something that was beneficial and rich for you. If you are interested in supporting Idin Kai Fa Temple, you can uh, look at the bottom of the screen and you can send donations. You can do whatever you feel to assist us in our elevation and reaching the people. Thank you so much once again. I want to end with prayer. Olodumare, please support us in understanding who we are and loving who we are and being clear of who we are and sticking to it. Sticking to it to a degree that no one in the world can deter us from our destiny. No one in the world, in the universe, can deter us, detract us from the greatness that you have encoded in our destiny. Help us to have a great sense of self, a great sense of love for who we are, so that we can truly find, follow, and fulfill our destiny. Thank you all so much. Abora boy.